Hello students, let's see next point, Wheatstone's bridge. Here resistance of material changes due to several factors such as temperature, strain, humidity, displacement, liquid level, etc. Therefore, measurement of these properties is possible by measuring resistance. Therefore, it means that measuring the resistance, we can measure temperature, strain, humidity, displacement, liquid level, etc. Measurable values of resistances vary from few milliohm to hundreds of mega ohm. Depending upon resistance range, that is resistance range will be from few milliohm to tens of ohm, or from tens of ohm to hundreds of ohm, or from hundreds of ohm to mega ohm. So depending upon the resistance range, different methods are used for measurement of resistance. Wheatstone's bridge is generally used to measure the resistance in the range from tens of ohm to hundreds of ohm. The Wheatstone's bridge was originally developed by Charles Wheatstone to measure values of unknown resistance. It is also used for calibrating, measuring instruments, voltmeters, ammeters, etc. Four resistances P, Q, R and S are connected to form a quadrilateral as shown in figure below. So in Wheatstone's bridge, there are four resistances, and these four resistances, that is resistance P, resistance Q, resistance R and resistance S. These four resistances are connected to form a quadrilateral A, B, C, D. Here, as like this. So, in this Wheatstone's bridge, these four resistances are connected to form a quadrilateral ABCD as like this. Then a battery of EMF E with key is connected between the points A and C such that point A is at higher potential with respect to the point C. Here, between this point A and C, this is the point A and this is the point C. Between these 2 points, a cell of EMF E and key K are connected. Here, this point A is at higher potential with respect to this point C. A is at positive potential, C is at negative potential. The galvanometer of internal resistance G is connected between the points B and D. This is a galvanometer and resistance of this galvanometer is G. This galvanometer of resistance G is connected between these 2 points, point B and point D. So here this cell and key are connected between the points A and C, and galvanometer is connected between the points B and D. When the key is closed, current I flows through the circuit. When we close this key, then current I flows through the circuit. It divides into I1 and I2 at point A. This current I divides into I1 and I2 at this point A. Current I1 flows through this resistance P and current I2 flows through this resistance S. The current I1 gets divided at point B. When this current I1 reach at this point B, when this current I reaches at this point B, part of the current passes through this galvanometer. That is, some current Ig passes through this galvanometer, and remaining current, that is I1 minus Ig, this current will pass through the resistance Q. Then current flowing through this S is I2. With this I2, this Ig gets added. These two currents, I2 and Ig, combine, and this current, that is I2 plus Ig, passes through the resistance R. Now, these two currents, current passing through Q and current passing through R, these currents combine, and then total current again pass through the circuit. Here, this is I1 minus Ig, this is I2 plus Ig. So, minus Ij and plus Ig will be equal to 0. So, total current will be I1 plus I2. And this I1 plus I2 is nothing but the current I. From figure, I is equal to I1 plus I2. This current I splits into two parts, I1 and I2. Again, at this point, these two currents get added and we get the current I. And therefore, this I is equal to I1 plus I2. Now, consider the loop ABDA. This loop A, B, this D and A. We have traced this loop as like this in clockwise direction. Direction of tracing is from A to B, then from B to D, again from D to A. Now we know that from the Kirchhoff's second law, we have to apply Kirchhoff's second law to this loop. And according to conventions of Kirchhoff's second law, potential difference across the resistor is negative if the direction of tracing and direction of conventional current is the same. And if these two directions are opposite, then potential difference across the resistance is positive. So, consider the loop ABDA. Let's apply Kirchhoff's second law to this loop. First, let's go from A to B. Direction of tracing is from A to B. And direction of current, this I1 is also the same. Therefore, potential difference across this resistance P will be negative. What will be potential difference across this resistance P? So, potential difference P is equal to I into R. This is the formula. I means current, R means resistance. Current flowing through this resistor P is I1 and resistance of this resistor is P. Therefore, we have written this first term minus I1 into P. Now let's go from B to D. Here direction of tracing is from B to D. Direction of current is also the same. And therefore, potential difference across this galvanometer. This is the galvanometer. Potential difference across this galvanometer will be, that is the formula, I into R. Current flowing through this is Ig. And we have considered its resistance as G. Therefore, potential difference across this galvanometer is Ig into G. And it is negative. Now, let's go from D to A. Direction of tracing is from D to A. But the direction of current is from A to D. These two directions are opposite. And therefore, potential difference across this resistance must be positive. Now, what will be potential difference across this S? Potential difference across this resistor of resistance S is I2 into S. Therefore, this I2 into S. So, if we apply Kirchhoff's law to this first loop, then we get this equation, that is minus I1P minus I1G plus I2S. Now, let's apply Kirchhoff's law to the next loop, that is the BCDB. Let's apply Kirchhoff's law to this next loop. That is, next loop is the BCDB. If we apply Kirchhoff's law to this loop BCDB, then what we will get? Let's go from B to C. Here, direction of tracing is from B to C. Direction of current is also the same. Therefore, potential difference across this resistor I1 minus Ig into Q. I1 minus Ig into Q will be negative. Now, let's go from C to D. Here, direction of tracing is from C to D. But direction of current is opposite. Therefore, potential difference across this resistor should be positive. And this potential difference will be I2 plus Ig into R. So, this I2 plus Ig into R, it is positive. Now, let's go from D to B. D to B. Here, direction of tracing is from D to B. And direction of current is B to D. Here also, these two directions are opposite. And as these two directions are opposite, potential difference across this galvanometer should be, it must be positive. And potential difference across this galvanometer will be Ig into G. Therefore, we get such a equation, minus into bracket I1 minus Ig into Q plus I2 plus Ig into R plus Ig into G is equal to 0. Suppose this is the equation 1. This minus I1P minus Ig into G plus I2S is equal to 0. This is equation 2. And this last one is the equation 3. From equation 1, 2 and 3, we can find the current flowing through any branch of the circuit. A special case occurs when the current passing through the galvanometer is 0. In this case, bridge is said to be balanced. If current flowing through this galvanometer is 0, that is Ig is equal to 0, then this bridge is said to be balanced. Condition for the balance is Ig is equal to 0. The condition for balance is Ig is equal to 0. This condition can be obtained by adjusting values of P, Q, R and S. If we adjust values of these resistances P, Q, R, S, then we can obtain this condition, that is Ig is equal to 0. Substituting this Ig is equal to 0 in equation 2 and 3, we get, let's substitute Ig is equal to 0 in equation 2. What we will get? This term Ig into Z will become 0. And if this term becomes 0, what term will remain? It will be minus I1P plus I2S is equal to 0. And therefore, we can write this as minus I1P plus I2S is equal to 0. Here, if we take this term, negative term minus I1P on other side of the equation, then we will get this term plus I1P is equal to I2S. This plus I1P is equal to I2S. This is equation 4. Minus I1P plus I2S is equal to 0. If we take this term on other side, we get this equation, equation 4. Now let's substitute Ig is equal to 0 in this equation 3. What will happen? Which term will become 0? If Ig is equal to 0, this term Ig into Q will be 0. Then next term Ig into R, it will also become 0. And this third term Ig into Z will also be 0. Now what will be new equation? The new equation will be minus I1 into Q plus I2 into R is equal to 0. Minus I1Q plus I2R is equal to 0. So this is the equation. Minus I1Q plus I2R is equal to 0. Now, if we take this term on this side, what we will get? We will get I1Q is equal to I2R. This is equation 5. Now, let's divide this equation 4 by equation 5. Dividing equation 4 by 5, what will happen? This I1 will cancel with this I1. I2 will cancel with I2. And we will get this equation. What? P divided by Q is equal to S divided by R. This P divided by Q is equal to S divided by R. Suppose this is equation 6. This is the condition for balancing. the resistance bridge. If any of the three resistances are known, then the fourth resistance can be determined by this equation number 6. If any of these three resistances are known, then we can determine the fourth resistance by using the equation number 6.